All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble. Of course, I do believe there are over 130 people waiting, viewers there, and chat is moving, so it should be just fine. We've got various people commenting on all platforms. So we're going to be talking about polling first today. We've got the first large slew of post-debate polls. Oh boy. It's better than I predicted, actually. It's even crazier than that. So we'll definitely have to talk about those ones. Some of them are probably, I would say outliers, but I don't know that all of them necessarily are. And look at the Joe Biden approval and disapproval rating. We're going to have to talk about that because that's in separate polling, not even in general matchups. Ooh, it is. It must really, really sting for the Biden campaign. How Democratic lawyers are bracing for Trump's return through lawfare. I'm so surprised. We'll be talking about that as well. Biden, by the way, will be the nominee. He is not. He is not standing down, nor was he expected to stand down by reasonable commentators. It's still a possibility. They could force him out. Now, they could 25th him. It is possible he could be impeached and removed from office, but I don't think the Kamala surge sort of thing, I think, is mostly a meme. And right now, if I was a betting man, I'd be putting my money on Biden still being the nominee, barring death or incapacitation. If he's incapacitated, of course, then they just remove him and there's nothing they can do about it. Texas juvenile arrested, accused of more than 100 bomb threats in several states. I was going to get to this yesterday, but I didn't really get time. Modern grapes exist because the dinosaurs died out, new research finds. Yes, there's a new variety of grape. We've got to talk about that. A little bit of archaeology news. And then we've also got some entomology news that I really, really love. Thank you to the two clankers who sent me this news story. Ants perform life-saving operations, the only animal other than humans known to do so. Now, of course, their little pea brains don't really know what they're doing, but they're capable of taxis and so forth. So we've got some crazy shit going on. Yeah, people keep telling me, well, it's going to be Michelle Obama. It's not going to be Michelle Obama. She's already stood down herself. And Joe Biden is not standing down. And Kamala, nobody wants her. And Gavin Newsom is off to the side like, oh, I don't want any part of this. He's not really weighing in on what's happening with Joe Biden. We know that Joe Biden is demented. That doesn't necessitate that he stand down. But when he looks at the polls, and we'll go to those first, I'm sure that he's not exactly a happy camper. We have a slurry of new polls as of yesterday. By the way, happy Independence Day to everyone in the United States, and happy Election Day to everyone in the UK. It's very ironic that you would choose Independence Day for an election in which Nigel Farage may crush the Conservative Party completely out of existence, by the way. General election, Trump v. Biden from New York Times, Siena. Trump +6. General election, Trump v. Biden v. Kennedy v. West v. Stein, +5. So about the same. There's not really a huge difference between the two at this point. General election, Trump v. Biden from Wall Street Journal. We've got Trump +6. Trump v. Biden from CBS News. Trump +2. General election, Trump v. Biden, Yahoo News. Trump +2. General election, Trump v. Biden v. Kennedy v. West v. Stein from Economist. Trump +2. He's ahead in literally all of the general election polls, in other words. Post-debate, he has definitely extended his lead. It's about as I expected, a point or two, thereabouts. So we have to wait for more polling before we know the exact number, but it's pretty bad for Joe Biden. Then we have President Joe Biden's job approval. Yeah, people they really think that he's doing a great job. Disapproval up by 25, 15, 17, 13, and 17, respectively, in New York Times, Siena, TIPP, Yahoo News, Rasmussen, and Economist. By the way, I'd point out, and I'm going to go to the actual chart page here, he has had a sharp rise in disapproval. He's very shy, just shy of his all-time disapproval right now. It is disapproval, the spread, 19.1. The disapproval at 57.8. I believe that let me, I wish I could zoom in on this chart, but I can't. I believe that the record was back here, and I'm trying to get the exact number. Yeah, the ultimate spread was 20.3. It's pretty close to that now. It's within a point, basically. So Joe Biden not necessarily having the greatest day. By the way, direction of the country polling is irrelevant. Some people pay attention to that. I'm not sure why. Congressional job approval, disapproval plus 53. Why am I not fucking surprised? There was another New York Times Siena poll that had Trump +5. And for some reason, it's listed separately here. And I'm not sure if that's a glitch or what the hell is going on there, because it seems to be the same as the poll that they have above. So that one is redundant. Nonetheless, in the general election, Trump +2.9. That is relatively high. It's one of the larger gaps that he's had. That's not mainly because Trump is, on a catastrophic rise. It's mostly because Biden is falling off a cliff. One of his quickest falls, actually, in the course of the polling history. So yes, we've got some problems. Somebody's saying Rumble is having an issue over there. Just a sec. Let me check. Yeah, I've been having a little bit of trouble with Rumble myself lately. By the way, there's an apple tree right out behind here, right in front of the door. And it was, they were doing that thing where they turn the tree into a hedge, but I didn't keep up with it because I don't know how to do it. And so now it's literally right in front of the fucking, door. Yes, Rumble is taking a shit. Yeah, I'm not seeing myself live over there at all. In fact, I can't even select live right now. Just a second here. I'm going to try to figure this out. Yep, apparently I'm not live on Rumble. That's not great. Or I might be, but it may be for only certain people or something like that. Anyways, I'm going to get to some super chats here. Try to figure Rumble out and hope that it starts working. Good site, but, it's a work in progress. Luka Pilipovic had a guy tell me that state laws will make an exception for Biden to step down. Why are people ignoring the ballot issue if Biden steps down? Because they're ignorant of the law. Bartimaeus 1. Hey, Sticks, if Biden doesn't drop out, what the hell is the media supposed to do? Things have been said that can't be taken back, and the op-eds are getting nastier by the hour. Happy 4th of July. Happy 4th to you as well. They can't force him out without 25thing him or something. And if they're crazy enough to do that, then there's a big problem too. Sin of regret. Sticks, if the Dems think Biden is going to lose, might they replace him for the optical win? Well, it wouldn't be an optical win. That's the whole problem. They're between a cock and a hard place, proverbially. Dan Malone, 53, sent $10. No super chat. Thank you very much. Felix Fanboy Rico, Daddy Sticks, tell me of your thoughts on dreams. Are they acts of clairvoyance, crossing dimensions, or just the subconscious mind sorting things out? Mostly just the subconscious mind. Eaters of Dead, what happens if Biden dies right before the election? Well, then the Dems get fucking screwed because you can't elect a dead person. I mean, you can vote for them. Democrats do that frequently, but they're not allowed to hold office. Wasted Bonehead, poor dude. He's not allowed to actually run for office. Let's see. It still shows upcoming. Something is wrong with the Rumble stream. Let me try to figure this out really quickly. And then we'll get into the Democrats and their various dysfunctions, of which there are many. How am I supposed to fucking... I mean, maybe I can edit the stream. I put it in right. I know that. Settings. It's set to public. It should be fine. Unfortunately, I don't think I can do... God. It's another one of those days. I got woken up at 5:30 in the morning to a screaming baby, so we're having a few issues at the moment. Can people on Rumble hear me, however? Is my audio working? Let me just get a quick answer to this question. I'm assuming the answer is probably no. Okay, no. So my audio is not working either. My apologies to everyone, including my sponsors. It looks like Rumble has shit the bed for the day. I am still live on YouTube and Twitter, but there's God, there's nothing that I can do. I know that I put in the right data this time. There was one other time that I put it in wrong. This time I'm 100% certain that I didn't. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it should be working. It's this time it's on Rumble's end. It's not on my end. So my apologies. There's nothing I can do about that. You can still participate in Rumble chat, but you're going to have to watch elsewhere on YouTube or Twitter. Stoke the fire. Happy 4th, Sticks. As a small L libertarian and rabid 10th Amendment supporter, what would your approach be to running for office in a place like very red Oklahoma be? Well, I would appeal to the people of Oklahoma in general and try to get elected. Politics is all about just getting elected. Public policy is a little bit different. By the way, my throat is awfully hoarse right now. I don't know what the fuck is going on today. And of course, it would be on Independence Day. I blame the cat. The cat is probably responsible. It is probably your fault. Yeah, show your little fuzzy face for everyone. Yeah, you know, she gets named and shamed and she has to leave. Damn it. That's really sad. It's Independence Day and Rumble decides to shit the bed. Of course. Anyway, we'll talk about the next news story. How Democratic lawyers are bracing for Trump's return. Inside the political gamesmanship taking place within Democratic attorneys general's offices throughout the country. Let me sum it up for you. Donald Trump is probably going to get reelected. We just analyzed the polls. It's, I don't think, even necessarily going to be that close. He's running 5 points ahead of where he was in 2016. He's running goddamn fucking 12 points ahead of where he was in 2020. And supposedly that election was thrown by only about 40,000 votes. So I think the writing's on the wall. Donald Trump is extremely likely to be reelected. There's a 99% chance at this time. I've upped his odds, by the way. I did say 80, 90%. Now it's 99% chance. It's going to look more like 2016 than 2020. That one is almost assured. Almost doesn't matter what happens at this point because people saw Biden have a literal breakdown. In fact, I might celebrate the 4th of July by watching the debate again tonight or something like that. Donald Trump is therefore going to be legally embattled the second that he enters office. They can't persecute him through the lawfare that they've been doing, but they can try to obstruct him at the state level by using the 10th, number 1, and state laws and things like that. When Donald Trump issued a ban on travelers from some Muslim-majority countries, it's actually more fair than most write-ups with TDS about it. Just a week into his presidency, Democratic attorney generals were caught off guard. They hadn't expected the policy, long promised by Trump on the campaign trail, to materialize so quickly. Over the course of a few days, they scrambled to sue to stop the executive order, failing, by the way, setting off 4 years of intense hostility between top Democratic lawyers and a Republican White House. Now, Democratic attorneys around the country are already gearing up for the possibility of a second Trump administration by beginning to map out an aggressive legal strategy to fight him again in court, this time with a fresh sense of urgency. Democratic attorney generals are exploring hiring outside experts and dispatching staff to study areas of law anticipated to come under attack, like reproductive health, immigration, and the environment. So in other words, what they're doing is seeking to preemptively undermine the incoming White House. Here's the tell. They would not be doing this if they did not expect Donald Trump to be reelected. There'd be no reason. If they expected Joe Biden to be reelected, they'd say, well, we don't have to really, I mean, we can topically prepare, but there's no need for an urgent organization or something like that. That's tell number one. And the second point is that they are preemptively attempting to undermine the incoming White House. They do intend to obstruct Donald Trump at all hazards. Congress will do this. Attorney generals will do this. Probably bureaucrats within the administration itself will do this. I mean, hopefully Trump has better hiring practices this time around, to be fair. They're all attempting to form that last line of defense against what they see as a threat to the uniparty, and they're not wrong when they think this. And that last line of defense, other than outright fucking killing Trump, is really just to deprive him of money and to try to obstruct him legally. And so I think that's what they hope to do. They expected before the debate that they had a good shot at winning the election. And they expected before SCOTUS weighed in that they could probably stop him through lawfare. Both of those have failed now at this point. They're not going to win the election, and they pretty much know that. They might retake the House for the Democrats, although with the generic congressional vote swinging in the other direction, that's not necessarily assured at this point either. I still favor them to do so, but it's like you don't have the votes to do anything other than randomly impeach him and obstruct a little bit on money. It doesn't give you enough votes, especially if the Republicans gain the Senate, and I favor them to do so. What you're going to end up with then is a situation where you've got endless lawfare against the administration to try to stop every policy that Trump tries to employ. Well, your tax policy is too lopsided. It's illegal. We're suing you. Well, you're trying to close the border. People have a right to seek asylum. We're suing you. You're not allowed to withhold aid from Ukraine. Oh my God. It's a human rights violation or something. We're suing you on that too. You're a Kremlin agent. They're going to seek to try to stop him through the courts more than anything else. I don't think that in the end they'll be universally successful, but they will universally try. Effectively, they're going to try to make Donald Trump a lame duck on day one, so that for 4 years he is president in name, but not in practice. E platypus unum. Why can't Biden be removed from a ballot if Dem convention hasn't happened yet? Doesn't make sense to me. What if they pick someone else? Well, the thing is, states set their own timelines for their elections, and that is one of their rights, generally speaking. Wisconsin and Nevada would be off the table if Biden were kicked off the ballot. The Democrats could not physically win them. Wisconsin would effectively be, if I remember correctly, nullified, and Nevada would default to almost automatically voting for Donald Trump. And so, and Georgia too. Georgia's another one, although that's not really in play anyway, so it doesn't matter as much. That has nothing to do with the DNC or the RNC. That has to do with state rules. Felix Fanboy Rico. I'm extremely curious what happens after Trump's second term. Who comes next with the same appeal? What about media that has a hard-on for TDS? I have no clue who's going to come next, but here's a little bit of a short list of people that will be in contention. If you're lucky, you're going to get like a Rand Paul. I would support him in an instant, in the blink of an eye. You'll probably get Vivek again. I mean, he'll barely be in his 40s, so he's viable. You'll probably get J.D. Vance again. You'll get whoever Trump's running mate is, presumptively, and that could be either of those individuals. Flynn has been mentioned. That's a possibility. I think it's a long shot, although I wouldn't have a problem with it. You'll probably get Little Marco again. You might get Ted Cruz again. It's going to be a laundry list of individuals with various qualifications. Tulsi could run again. She did a reasonably good job destroying Kamala Harris. She might get a chance to do that again, depending on who the running mate is. Alex Bogey. Macron may have shat the bed worse than Joe, disbanding his Congress because he is a lame duck. You mean his parliament, of course. And have the election take place during the Euro Soccer Championship. Fans will vote for Le Pen out of spite. Yeah, agreed. He really, he's got a problem there. We're going to be looking towards the British election results too. Tomorrow I'll be able to report on that. Mad World, people in power are trying to convince us that the villain in our American story is each other. Agreed. Alamandorius, hey Sticks, Joe Biden's mental issues go back a lot farther than people realize. Back prior to 2010, Robin Williams made a comedy special, Weapons of Self-Destruction, where he joked about it. Yes, although to be clear, Joe Biden in 2010 was not nearly as cognitively impaired as he is now. A little bit bumbly, yeah. Did he have the stutter? Yeah, I mean, he doesn't, but, that was what they claim. But he didn't have dementia. He didn't have dementia. He wouldn't have lasted this long if he had back in 2010. Musically assured destruction. Would Rand Paul be a wild card for VP? No, he will not be chosen for the running mate slot, unfortunately. By the way, again, I apologize to people on Rumble. Unfortunately, Rumble has shit the bed today on Independence Day. Thank you very, very much for that, by the way. It's really great. I don't know. I'm not criticizing Rumble unduly, but a little bit more stability, please. Anyways, let's go to our sponsors before we go to the rest of the news, because we've got some other funny things to talk about, one of which is Biden related. We have cultivated-mind.com. That is cultivated-mind.com, where you can get mushroom pills. Again, disclaimer, I cannot make any medical claims about these particular pills, and they've got some other offerings as well. But I have taken them, and I notice an energy boost. For me, it works. There might be a differential between different people. Maybe it only affects some people over others. It's got reishi mushrooms and chaga in it, actually. Also, they don't taste like shit, which is nice because swallowing things that taste like shit is never a good thing. We have pumpkinfirecrafts.us. Yes, you can get keychains, belt chains, you can get bookmarks, you can get engraved spoons, the Ouroboros logo, saying Clank, 10.2, etc., and much, much more available now there. Use code STICKS, by the way, on any site that I mention here, if you are prompted to enter a promo code. BillTongUSA.com or AntonsUSA.com, whereby, by the way, Anton is being harassed by the people in Roanoke, Texas at the moment. So you can buy some of his Biltong or Sticks, Hex, and Hammer tumblers, mugs, or shirts or something like that to help support a small business that is currently being harassed and abused for no reason. We've got wickedneedleembroidery.bigcartel.com, the land of Sticks, Hex, and Hammer hats, various colors and shapes available. And of course, the logo can be offset or it can be centered. You do you, stylize a little bit. We've got heritageheirloomseedcompany.com, land of the seed survival bucket. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it's probably time to pick one of those up, by the way. I will vouch, by the way, especially for their cucumbers. I can't wait to show those off when I'm back in Rutland, because apparently the plants are literally dripping with cucumbers at the moment, and I'm not there to actually turn them into Greek pasta, and rather sad. Also, you can get the Sticks, Hex, and Hammer soap box, which has cedar, clove, and blueberry. That's the scent for the Sticks, Hex, and Hammer soap. It's really good. Just trust me. We've got websterswares.com/sticks-wares, where you can get various Sticks, Hex, and Hammer merch. You can get knives, which is really nice. I like bladed weapons, just saying. You can get jackets. You can get metal spoons to save the turtles, etc., etc. Flags as well. There's also, if you go to the main page, you can get Trump paraphernalia, and also they've got miscellany. So there's a lot of stuff available there with survivalistic things and knickknacks. Jamandbean.com. That is JAMNbean.com. The land of Sticks, Hex, and Hammer endorsed coffees and teas. The tea is really good. The coffee is really good. But I'm always going to focus on the Costa Rica blend because, it smells amazing. It also has a good kick to it. Like, I don't want a coffee that's too weak because, it'll be like dishwater or something. Or you have to add too much coffee, and then it comes out rot gut. Like the kind of coffee that you get in the car sales store or something like that. It's just not good. You don't have that problem with Jam and Bean. MTPew, that is MTPEW.com, where you can get various ammunition, both range brass and newly manufactured. So you should stock up now. Wars are coming, a zombie apocalypse could come any day now. Literally, the president of the United States looks like, a mummy that's been brought back to life. So, it might have already begun. We're not sure. We're hoping Joe Biden never bites anyone, so we don't have to find out. And then finally, brickmuseum.com, based in Bel Air, Ohio through August. They are open. and they have like a shit ton of Lego stuff available there for you to peruse, and it looks really, really cool. I was a 90s Lego kid, and so I appreciate that. And there's a reason why I wanted them to cooperate with me as a sponsor, because yeah, Legos, 10 out of 10. Best toy as a kid, by the way. Vinny the D, I'll be at Anton's tomorrow for my bi-weekly trip, and I'll see what I can do to help. Yeah, I mean, maybe we need to organize a clanker protest against City Hall or something like that. I mean, we could. Apparently, there's like 100 people in the area that know of my channel, so, we could probably get together a little bit of a posse, get people some matching shirts or something. Death Angel's Shadow. Hey, Sticks, from what I've researched, July 9th is the Georgia deadline to submit the candidate for presidential election. All other states are later. Yeah, no, but I mean, the timeline, yeah, to submit him as a candidate, yeah. But to actually withdraw in some states is not possible unless the candidate literally croaks or is 25th, like totally incapacitated or something. And I think that applies in Nevada, Georgia, and Wisconsin, if I remember correctly. Yeah. God damn. Come on, Rumble. Start working. Oi, oi. Anyway, we'll go to the next news story. Again, it's going to be a weird Independence Day. I should make hot dogs later, I suppose. Yeah. With goat cheese. That's the way to have them. Goat cheese and ketchup, or goat cheese and chili. Either one is fine. Biden vows to keep running despite signs of rapidly eroding support among Democrats. Senior aide said Biden has just a matter of days to mount a convincing display of his fitness for office before his party's panic and anger boils over. Several reads on this. Number one, the anger and panic have already boiled over. We've seen it from commentators. We've seen it from certain members of Congress. We haven't seen it from Democratic governors, though. They've circled the wagons. We've already seen it. Joe Biden's own reaction to his debate performance was relatively subpar. Well, yeah, come on, man. I may not debate as well as I used to, but I'm still defending this here democracy. All right, that's cool, Joe. That's perfect. But you still had a shitty debate performance, and you lost several points of approval as a result of this in approval polling. So we're not talking about the general election matchup. You just lost several million people. Just to be clear, off of that shaved edge is really going to hurt you because you're probably not getting that support back. It's going to be real difficult to get any further undecided voters or anything like that. The gap is closing. We're coming up on, we're in July now. It's not February. It's not March. It's July. We've only got a few months until the election. It happens in November. And yeah, I don't think that you even have a few days. I think you've already screwed the pooch. Yes, theoretically, let's say Joe Biden has an absolutely spectacular September debate extravaganza. Trump shows up, he's haggard and tired and doesn't know what the fuck he's doing or has a fucking stroke or something, and Joe Biden kicks it out of the park. Okay, that would redeem you. Is this likely to happen? No, it's not likely at all. It's almost impossible. I'm almost as hoarse as Joe Biden at the moment. Again, the trees have decided to mate again. I'm not sure which ones have decided to do so. It's not pine trees, though. I suppose maybe the pine trees in the middle of the country, maybe the breeze is carrying the pine pollen over here or something like that. It's possible, but it's not likely. No, I think that the anger and panic have already boiled over. You've got a number of liberal commentators, a number of members of the Democratic House, a number of other politicians saying that Biden needs to go. Plenty of commentators, too, and legacy media wonks, and plenty of lay people as well. Here's who's circling the wagons. Mainly the Democratic governors. They generally have his back, it seems. They had a conference with him, some of them, and they came out and said, well, Biden is perfectly sharp. He's sharp as a tack and doing fine. Yeah, once they give him his addies and his zannies, I'm sure that he's capable of having a short, coherent conversation. You met with him for 10 minutes and you judged him based on that. Other people who have worked with him for years and years tell a different story. That, and you've got Schumer, you've got Pelosi. Kamala certainly is going to circle away. I mean, she wants to keep her job. Other than that, though, you don't really have a lot. Most of the other Democrats, they are conspicuously mum about this topic now, aren't they? They're not throwing him under the bus, but they're not really circling the wagons. They saw the same performance that you and I saw, and they didn't like what they saw. And so now there's, whoa, hands up, they walked away. And that's really the most conspicuous thing. The conspicuous silence of a lot of people with regards to his debate performance speaks volumes. The silence actually speaks louder than any words could possibly speak. I'm McLovin it, but he's vowed to keep running. He's outright stating now he's not standing down. Other than removing him due to incapacity or something like that, there's nothing that they can do about that. And some of them are real pissed about this, I'm sure. Oh, Jimmy Dore is going to have a fucking special about this probably. A defiant President Joe Biden vowed Wednesday to keep running for re-election, rejecting growing pressure from Democrats, some of them, to withdraw after a disastrous debate performance. Talk about non-hyperbole. Raised questions about his readiness to keep campaigning, much less win in November. Here's his readiness level. It's about the same as the U.S. military prior to the Civil War. There is none. He's relying on his backup neurons at the moment. Winning in November, probably not. I do not believe that Joe Biden is going to win re-election in this case. But increasingly, ominous signs were mounting for the president. Two Democratic lawmakers have called on Biden to exit the race, while a leading ally publicly suggested how the party might choose someone else. And senior aides said they believed he might only have a matter of days to show he was up to the challenge before anxiety in the party boils over again. I believe that it already has. They're panicking. Oh my God, I fucking love this. They're in an absolute rout right now. After that debate performance, they don't know what the fuck they're doing, actually. They're panicking because they're like, oh shit, Donald Trump is actually going to get reelected now, isn't he? Whoops, orange man bad, somebody save us. And so they're grasping for straws right now. It's almost funnier than the fucking election will be. I mean, the election will be funny. I expect that Trump will win. He might expand his 2016 map. He could get Minnesota, Virginia, a couple of these other states. It's entirely possible. That'll be funny because there'll be a nervous breakdown among leftoids because like, oh my God, orange man back. They'll be pissed about that. This is almost more panic than I think we might see in such an election with that result, actually. It's pretty great. Jake Pliskin, seen the fear-mongering over Project 2025? Lol. Yeah, I have. I'm not even going to bother getting into that, though. Beefy King, Hoctwa. Yeah, I know that's some sort of a meme with a chick that, like, you know, she, like, hawked up a loogie or some shit like that. I don't pay attention to that sort of thing. Thomas Weiser, drinking company truck in Parade today. Nice. Mike the Wapo, oh, kite mofos. Too much Buffalo Trace last night, and I have Biden brain now. I hope everyone's celebrations go swimmingly today. Yeah, I'm thinking that I might make, like, home fries and hot dogs or something like that. Yeah, with a side salad, of course. I like to have a little bit of veggie in there. I was always the weird kid that liked his vegetables. Maybe Brussels sprouts. I don't know. A lot of people hate them. I think that they're delicious, but only if they're just straight up boiled with a little bit of salt. That's all you need. You serve them with a little bit of butter. Opinionated junkie. Only one person said Biden won the debate. Dude is trolling. This is the same person that was saying right-wing talking points now switch left after 22. You mean Harry Sisson? Fuck Joe Biden. Could you imagine what they did for FDR? But Biden is no FDR. Happy Independence Day, U.S. Yeah, FDR had his own problems, but he was nowhere near as fried out as Biden is. He was physically fried. Still apparently could get it up. He was fucking his secretary. You know, he certainly wasn't fucking his wife very often. If you look at a picture of her, you probably understand why. Musically assured destruction. I know Jimmy Dore is a liberal, but you guys would probably agree on more issues than you think. Alex Jones is a friend of the show. Yeah, but again, it's like broken clock mode. Sticky Marks, happy Independence Day. Love a crazy old lady, UK. Weird. Blackstone sunk millions into manga distributor. Interesting. I did not know that. I also have no idea what that refers to. If you've got a link to a story about that, send it on Twitter. Texas juvenile arrested and accused of more than 100 bomb threats in several states. A Texas juvenile has been arrested after the Collin County Sheriff's Office, Tyler Police Department, Smith County Sheriff's Office, and the FBI, so pretty significant, executed a search warrant in Smith County on Saturday, June 29th. Investigators say the juvenile was actively trying to stay hidden from law enforcement using sophisticated techniques, so probably a VPN or something like that, before authorities uncovered their identity through persistent online investigative efforts. By the way, how many millions of dollars did you spend doing this? I probably don't want to know. In a press release, the Collin County Sheriff's Office said the operation successfully identified a juvenile suspect responsible for numerous bomb threats and swatting hoaxes across multiple states. And I was thinking maybe that was the kid that swatted me. Maybe it wasn't that other one that got arrested. You know, apparently there are a handful of people out there that just really, they love to be keyboard warriors and whatever. Let's see, the multi-agency investigation began in May 2024, so at least it didn't take them too long. That's good. Then they don't, of course, because it's a juvenile, they don't identify who it was. They don't even name the age, actually. They just say that it was a juvenile. So literally, this could have been some edgelord 10-year-old calling in hundreds of bomb threats and swatting hoaxes to the point where the FBI has to get involved. I mean, that's literally what could be the case. In fact, I'm going to look this up a little bit more. Collin County bomb threats or something like that. Yeah, we'll try to look it up and see if we can at least find the age. No, that's not exactly what I want. Let's have some fun. Okay, so they've confirmed it's a teen. Okay, how old is this teen? Let's see. Yeah, apparently the age is not going to be listed. So I don't know how old, but apparently a teen. So it's not a 10-year-old, not an edgy 10-year-old. Although that would have been funnier. Hey, this 10-year-old, this 9-year-old with a VPN caused the FBI to waste hundreds of hours of time and millions of U.S. taxpayer dollars. But then they send him the bill and they're like, okay, you're in debt for life. Don't worry, though. Joe Biden will probably forgive that, too. Ren, happy Independence Day to all. He sent 1776, so thank you very much. Or she. I don't want to presume anyone's gender. It's probably against the TOS at this point on YouTube. Yeah, unfortunately, Rumble is not working today. And so I'm wondering if maybe after I'm live, it'll still load over there so people can watch the live stream, but it just won't be live or something like that. Not 100% sure. Clank on, you crazy clankers. That shitty willy. Yeah. I mean, it just says upcoming, but it's not working. There are hundreds of people waiting for it to go live, but, you know, we've been supposedly live over there for now 40 minutes, and it's not, sadly, it's not doing anything. Oh, God, that pisses me off. It would be on the 4th of July, by the way. Yeah, I really hope it's working tomorrow, though, because on my live stream, I'm sure that the British election results are going to be big. Modern grapes exist because dinosaurs died out, new research finds, or rather suggests, I would say. Grapes have been intertwined with the story of humanity for millennia, providing the basis for yummy alcohol that all of the ancestors that you had imbibed in great amounts because their lives were otherwise miserable thousands of years ago. But that may not have been the case if dinosaurs hadn't disappeared from the planet, according to new research. When an asteroid struck Earth 66 million years ago, this is only one theory, by the way, about the dinosaurs disappearing. It wiped out the massive lumbering animals and set the stage for other creatures and plants to thrive in the aftermath. This is not known. It is speculated. I believe that a plethora of different things happened at the same time to wipe out the dinosaurs. By the way, there are still dinosaurs in the world today. It's just we now call them birds and reptiles. Now, the discovery of fossilized grape seeds in Colombia, Panama, and Peru that range from 19 million to 60 million years old is shedding light on how these humble fruits captured a foothold in Earth's dense forests and eventually established a global presence. One of the newly discovered seeds is the oldest example of plants from the grape family to be found in the Western Hemisphere, according to a study of these specimens published Monday in the journal Nature Plants. They are the oldest ones ever found. And so apparently the extinction of the dinosaurs helped them to spread around, according to this study. You've got to understand that paleontology, archaeology, ethnobotany, things like that can be highly speculative, except when you're dealing with human systems where things can be highly objective. For instance, if you were doing an ethnobotanical study of 19th century herbals or something, okay, you can quantify. You got a specimen, a book, and you can say what it says, and you can sort of analyze them and see patterns or whatever you want. When we're talking about nature, a lot of times we're talking about a time frame of millions, tens, or even hundreds of millions of years. Things tend to be a little bit on the speculative side when you're dealing with specimens that are that old. We're not concocted by human beings at all, and for which you don't necessarily have a date or place at all. This paleobotanist here, apparently she named the species, they named the species, Lethuva sussmani. This is a new species of grape, or Sussman stone grape, in honor of Arthur T. Sussman, who has been a supporter of South American paleobotany at the Field Museum. This new species is also important because it supports a South American origin of the group which the common grape vine Vitis evolved, said study co-author Gregory Stoll of the National Museum of Natural History. By the way, wouldn't it be funny? Can you explain to me, from South America, of course, how did grapes in the latter day they emerge from there? I don't know if they were originating there. I don't know. The world may never know. Of course, at one time the continents were a little bit closer together, so that might have been helpful. Sparky, it said Joe took a lot of naps at Camp David. If they didn't make sure, Joe wore his CPAP each time, even for 5-minute naps. With each nap comes oxygen deprivation, leaving him extra zombified. Believable. Speculative, but believable. By the way, please send no more super chats. I'm going to go off a little bit early today because I've got this one last article to gloss over. It's etymological, so I'm interested in it. Weird. The fact that black stone and not black rock is trying to control the equivalent to diamond. You don't need to buy every newspaper if the paper boy is cheaper. Jacob C. Happy Independence Day. Can I get a shout out to 365 Infantry on Substack? Pulp sci-fi starring metalhead wolves, muscle cars, and cyberpunk dystopias. That sounds down my alley. I have to check into that. Lev Polyakov. Greetings, Sticks. Maybe when Anton moves, we can organize Biltong Fest on his new larger property. Damn shame Roanoke, Texas is choking the golden chicken. Yeah, now they're literally beating off at the moment. Musically assured destruction. My partner and I are going to our friend's house for July 4th, but they want to order pizza instead of grilling and dealing with the mess. What to do, Sticks? Pizza's perfectly fine for the 4th of July. You know, there are plenty of Italian Americans. Felix Fanboy Rico. Confuse a damn mind by going to them exclaiming the election was rigged. Once they tell your conspiracy theorists, tell them you were talking about 2016. That's actually a pretty good switcheroo when I think about it. That's a good idea. Yeah, people should definitely, with your liberal relative, when you're sitting down to your July 4th feast, yeah, you should do that. Damn, I wish I had thought of that one. Good one. Sparky, actually, the Jimmy Dore show is a much better source than your normal heavily CIA-curated news sources. It's not a broken clock situation, like you always say, when Jimmy Dore is brought up. Yeah, but I mean, he's still on the left wing of politics. I don't support left-wing politics. Pumpkin Firecrafts, happy Independence Day, Clankers. 24% off your order using code FREEDOM24 through Sunday night. Engraved glassware now available. Have a safe holiday. Yeah, don't drive drunk, anyone. Amon Miller sent $1.99. No comment. Thank you very much. By the way, here, let me tell you, we're not live here because Rumble is not working. I am live on YouTube and Twitter. Okay, I'm just going to close that out since... Jesus. Again, it would be on July 4th. Yeah, one of the most important American holidays of the year, and I can't even dual stream. Of course, after waking up at 5:30 in the morning. Ants perform life-saving operations, the only animal other than humans known to do so. Florida ants perform amputations and clean wounds to prevent the spread of infections, scientists discover. The researchers found that Florida carpenter ants, Camponotus floridanus, identify limb wounds on their nestmates, then treat them with either cleaning or amputation. The team published its findings Tuesday in the journal Current Biology, which is, it's amazing that they're capable of identifying that sort of thing. I mean, considering their relative lack of mental capabilities. Technically, I mean, they're all clones anyway. So in 2023, Frank's team discovered that an African ant species, Megaponera analis, can treat infected wounds in their nestmates with an antimicrobial substance produced in their glands. Florida carpenter ants do not have any equivalent glands, so the team wanted to find out how this species handles wounds in members of the colony. Specifically, the researchers looked at two types of leg wounds, lacerations on the femur or thigh, and those lower down on the tibia. In experiments, they observed that the ants treated their nest members' femur injuries by cleaning the wound with their mouths before amputating the leg by repeatedly biting it, while the tibia wounds were treated with just cleaning. By the way, this is highly interesting. The ant is flexible enough to amputate its own limbs, but they're doing it for one another. That shows maybe a little bit more market intelligence than we give them credit for. Ants, by the way, are fascinating. I was obsessed with them as a kid. Used to watch ant mounds for hours and hours. They can come in very useful, by the way, as well. There were red ants living in one tree stump out on the property. I think I've told this story once before, but for those that didn't hear it, it was hilarious. And we had carpenter ants in the house, which is real bad when your house is made out of wood. So what I did is I took a Tupperware container. I went out to the red ant's nest. I scooped it in and closed it up real quick because otherwise they'll fucking swarm all over you. And then their bites do hurt. And I figured, well, these guys are better at fighting than carpenter ants. What happens if I go to the entrance of the carpenter ant's nest and I dump, a legion of red ants on it? And so I dumped a bunch of red ants on it. And then we went to lunch. We went to Seward's, actually, which unfortunately no longer exists. Had a super dog. It was pretty great. By the time I came back, there were thousands and thousands and thousands of dead ants scattered all over the place. It was in the garage was where the nest was. There were corpses littering the garage. There were corpses littering the front end in front of the garage. It was just a bloodbath. The red ants cut them to pieces and destroyed the entire colony. Haven't seen them since. Then the red ants tried to move in at one point. Of course, there's no other ant that's strong enough to deploy to cause that to happen, so I had to use poison. Also destroyed a wasp's nest once with red ants. That was even funnier. They were trying to nest inside of the covering next to the front door, next to the vinyl siding of the house. And you could see them flying in and out. There was a little gap at the bottom. That hadn't been properly installed or whatever. And so I dumped a bunch of red ants in there. And all of a sudden, you just see a bunch of fucking wasps or hornets or whatever the fuck you'd call them. They're tumbling out covered in ants, and they're all trying to fight in the front. Again, their nest got completely destroyed. And I was very happy with myself for thinking up that particular trick. And I hope to do it again someday. Yes, indeed. I don't like to kill insects myself, but it's natural for them to kill one another. So you don't gain any karma from that. Sparky, disaffected liberals are the most accurate news sources nowadays. Yeah, I happen to be one of them. I'm not exactly a right-winger on many issues, you may have noticed. Anyways, I'm going to go offline. I apologize to anyone that wanted to watch on Rumble. We didn't go live there because it just didn't work. I think there's one more super chat. Please send no more, by the way. I'm trying to keep up. Otis Crinkle, have you ever encountered fire ants? They suck. Happy 4th. Okay, I guess I'll tell one more story. When I was in Texas, in my previous marriage, Rio Grande Valley, there are fire ants everywhere, right? And I went swimming quite frequently. I had my swim trunks in the closet for a few days. Unbeknownst to me, fire ants had begun to get into that closet. and they had a nest in that wall. I mean, they got gassed out later on, but they were all over those shorts. Now, I'm not really thinking there's going to be fire ants in my swim trunks, and so I take off my pants and I'm about to pull my swim trunks on. And I got up to about the mid thigh, and I feel a weird sensation. I look down, and I'm like, oh fucking shit! Run to the shower. I'm just like scrubbing them off and blasting them with water. And I'm thankful that I didn't pull it up another foot or so, because what's down there? I don't think you want fire ants on it. That would have been a problem. Then had to spray poison actually in there. I don't like killing animals or insects, anything like that, but sometimes it's necessary. You don't want them infesting your house. It's better to play them off against one another. Tigers are my totem, sent $5. No comment. Thank you very much. And now with that, I'm going to end because I've got a plan for the Independence Day feast, UK election, 10 million fucking other things. And it's going to be kind of insane. Yeah, thankfully, no fire ants crawled into my dick hole. That's about all. Peace out.